I think we're live. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nathan. I am from an organization called EY. And today we're going to talk to you all about our school leaver opportunities. But I'm not going to do that by myself. I've got two colleagues with me, Joseph and Sophia. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Sophia, do you want to go first?
That's fine. So my name is Sophia, and I recently joined the firm in September 2021, and I joined the Assurance School Leavers Program. So the department I work in is BCM, which stands for Banking and Capital Markets. Over to you, Joseph.
So like Sophia, I joined EY in September 2021. I am currently in the consulting service line. Specifically, the segment I'm working in is the CSD, which is the Consulting Service Delivery Centre in Newcastle. Work across a variety of solution areas such as anti-money laundering, suitability, and cybersecurity.
Fantastic. And you'll find out more about their roles a little bit later on. So it's really important. If you've got any questions, just pop them in the chat box. You can ask us anything and we will get to your questions at the end. But for now, what we'll do is I'm going to share my screen and tell you a little bit more about EY and who we are and what we do. So hopefully you can see that. Sophia, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's get into it. So EY, who are we? So hopefully you've heard of us, but if you have never heard of us, that's absolutely fine. EY is a professional services company. Now, what does that mean? Well, basically, the long and short of it is we help businesses be better. And that may be through helping them with their finances. It might be through helping them implement new technology. It might be helping them with kind of like their business structure, so the actual structure of their business, or it might be helping them buy or merge businesses as well. We are a very big international firm. We're one of the so-called Big Four, along with KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC. And internationally, we have over 300,000 people working at EY, so it's a pretty big organization. Over in the UK, we have 21 offices, so everywhere from London, obviously, to Reading, Luton, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Southampton, Exeter, Belfast, and everywhere in between as well. And we have about 18,000 people in the UK working for us. And last year we hired 1,500 new graduates and apprentices. And this year we're hiring over 2,500 graduates and apprentices. So as you can see, we are growing very quickly. So I'm going to hand over to Sophia and Joseph just to talk a little bit about why they decided to do an apprenticeship over going to university. So Joseph, how comes you decided to do an apprenticeship instead of going to university?
So currently I'm on the Chartered Management Degree Apprentice Programme, it's a nice mix. So I do still attend university, but it's so 1 day a week as a part-time student rather than a full-time student. That's at Northumbria University. I'm currently studying towards a business leadership and management practice degree alongside accreditation from the Chartered Management Institute. From a young age, I knew that full-time university wasn't for me. I'm quite a hands-on person. I like getting involved practically, and this apprenticeship really summarized my career aspirations within a program. It's excellent in that the learning I take at university, I can apply practically throughout my work, throughout my everyday practice, and particularly within the CSD, for example, the breadth of markets and different clients you face, it's the greatest learning opportunity you can have. I think in 5 months at EY now, I've been on 4 different projects. I've seen a vast array of different experiences. I've worked across various solution areas, and I cannot underestimate the amount I've learned over the last 5 months. And that for me is what I was looking for within the program, and it's fully matched my expectations.
Great. And Sophia, how about you? What's your story?
Yep, so my story. So what kind of made me choose EY? So when I was in your guys' position, so year 12 and year 13, the idea of getting into debt and going to university, it didn't really appeal to me very strongly. I already had a part-time job at the time, and working appealed to me a lot more than just simply studying. So what I did is I did a bit of research online, and I came across something called a degree apprenticeship, which is a mix of working and studying. And I thought, bingo, this is exactly what I want to do. So I applied to about 50 different companies, faced a lot of rejections, took a lot of feedback on board. And in the end, I got about 3 offers from EY, Bloomberg, and JP Morgan. So you might ask me what stood out about EY, compared to the other 2 firms. So I'd have to say that the company's values, how they treat their employees. I felt a sense of friendliness and warmth from day one of interviews, which, I didn't quite necessarily feel in all the other firms that I interviewed in. So the first couple of months, I've been supported so much. I've been provided with an EY buddy. I was in contact with a month before me even starting at the firm, and I literally just directed any questions that I had towards them about the apprenticeship. So that was great. I was also given an apprenticeship counsellor, apprenticeship coach, and many other forms of support. So yeah, I think apprenticeships are a great way to attain a degree level qualification that's industry specific, and you get paid to work at a brilliant job right in the heart of the capital. And there is also the added bonus of fun evenings and socials. So yeah, it was just like my dream, what I wanted to do.
That sounds great, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, like we said, you can ask questions to both Sophia and Joseph a little bit later on. So do pop your questions in the chat. So let's talk a little bit more about, how we are structured as a company. That slide wants to move on. So we've got, these are what we call our service lines. So we've got assurance, tax, strategy and transactions, consulting and actuarial. Now, you may not know what these words mean, and that's absolutely fine. You may not know what a service line is. So if we put it into the context of a school, every school has different departments. You've got your English department, you've got your maths department, you've got languages, PE, music, etc. These are our departments. So assurance, tax, strategy and transactions, consulting and actuarial. Those are our departments, if you want to put it like that. So what do these terms mean? Now, let's move on. So this is what these different terms mean. So we've got our different departments or service lines up here. And assurance. So assurance helps businesses and clients make sure their finances are in order and healthy for employees and investors. They also look at the risks businesses have and advise on them. So Sophia, you're from assurance. What does that look like day to day? So helping businesses with their finances.
Okay, so yeah, I am in assurance. I'm in BCM, which works directly with banks. So my day-to-day would look like, so I'd have my very first meeting of the day with my senior. What they would do, they would walk me through my tasks, that they would make sure I have all the necessary files open, and we'd kind of just work to create a to-do list. Then I'd kind of crack on with my tasks, and I'd make sure to also put a big focus on diary management, so ensuring that I'm aware of all the relevant calls and meetings that I'm going to be having on that day, be it with a client. So I'm in BCM, so all my clients are banks. So, I'll have to be preparing any queries or questions that I might have in advance for my meetings. So then I'd basically crack on with my task. So that might look like, analyzing financial statements, spreadsheets, testing balances, report writing regarding like client internal procedures, and documenting them all down. So it's not just maths, it's a bit of English as well. So basically it's all rounded, all your skills get developed, which is why I think this is an amazing apprenticeship. And my senior is always just a message away on Teams if I'm ever struggling with anything. So I always feel supported. I don't feel like I'm just being left in the lurch. So I can also chat to my EY buddy, counselor or apprenticeship coach if there's anything I want to discuss, or if there's any concerns that I might have.
Fantastic. And then consulting. So consultants do a lot of varied work for our clients, from creating banking apps to advising on the HR structures. Our consultants transform organizations, helping them change for the future. Now, Joseph, you're part of the consulting service line. So what does that look like day to day for you?
Well, on a day-to-day basis, I think the information on the screen thoroughly summarizes what consulting is like on a day-to-day basis. That being, we are helping transform organizations by changing for the future in line with our next wave consulting strategy, which is to create long-term value for our clients, for society, as well for ourselves. So on a day-to-day basis, normally I'll start the day with a project check-in call. This is where we'll flag potential issues or suggestions we have with our process or the work we're doing. We can also ask for like questions or support. And like Sophia said, I cannot underestimate the amount of support at EY. There have been many times on projects where I've been unsure of the work, or I've been not quite sure on a process and how it works. And like every time there's so many people who are willing to help you on that front, and they'll provide you an answer which totally answers the question. In terms of the work I've been doing, like Sophia said, there are regular check-ins and there is constant help provided to you, but like normally they just leave you to get on with your tasks and the work you're doing. So on a day-to-day basis, I've worked across PPI complaint projects. I've worked in building a leading-edge regulatory compliance tool for the financial services market, and I've currently moved on to an AML project. And it's that variety of work that I really like about consulting, because you're helping firms transform for the future, and the uncertainty that comes with that and the dynamism of the market. There's no 2 days that are ever the same in consulting, and that makes it really interesting to me, and that's something I thoroughly enjoy.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for bringing that to life, guys. So, and then we've got things like tax. So tax teams works with banks and insurance companies. They help clients understand tax rules better, as well as use technology to improve process and support companies merging or buying each other. So maybe you are unaware of what tax is or how it works. So basically, if you're not working now, in the future, you will definitely be paying tax at some point. But these rules are very complicated for businesses, because it depends on how big your business is, how much money you earn, how many employees you have, and it can get very complicated for businesses to work out how much tax they should be paying. So what EY does, it helps businesses explain all these tax, and there's lots of new technology out there to make paying tax easier and more automated as well. So EY will help companies implement those new technologies. So moving on to strategy and transactions. So this involves advising organizations on how to grow and stay competitive through buying and selling or merging parts of their business. It's made up a number of different areas who work closely together. So there is a link between tax and strategy and transactions, in the fact that they both help businesses buy other businesses or sell parts of their businesses or merge businesses as well. So you might be thinking one acquisition you can probably think of that's been relatively recent is Walmart buying Asda. Now, I don't think EY was involved in that, but as you can see, businesses merge all the time, or they may sell parts of their business as well, and EY will help out with that. And the last one is a word that you've probably never heard of, which is absolutely fine, because I had never heard of it before I joined EY, and that's actuarial. So these are additional services that EY provides. The actuarial teams carry out complex calculations for the insurance industry, allowing our clients to make decisions for the future. And this forms part of our service line. So if you're into very much calculations and seeing how things work, actuarial is for you. So hopefully that explains a little bit more about our service lines or departments, and that makes it a little bit clearer what we do as an organization. So as you can see, like I said before, we are a very big organization that do a lot of different things. So there is a place for everyone here. And speaking of a place for everybody here, so at EY, we are proud to build a culture that we are all proud of. At EY, it's not all just about work. There are various networks you can join as part of the workspace, and we want everyone to bring their true self to work and just to be comfortable. So there are a range of networks, like I said, and these can range from cultural diversity. So there's a Black network, there's religious networks like the Muslim network, there's Christianity network, gender, so there's a women's network as well. There are networks for LGBT and networks for disabilities as well. So this is in order for everyone to feel comfortable at work. So let's talk about the different opportunities that we have. So hopefully some of you are year 12 or year 13 or S5 or S6 or lower 6 or upper 6, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully some of you are in this category. But if you are younger, so if you are still in secondary school, these opportunities are good to know for the future as well. So let's talk about our Business Academy. So the Business Academy is a 1-week paid work experience in an EY office closest to you. So remember that I said there are 21 offices across the UK. So that you probably are in a good chance that you live near one of our offices. It gives you on-the-job work experience, business skills, and work shadowing. So it's a great way to kind of start your career in business. You can support teams in either assurance, tax, or turnaround and restructuring strategy. So we've spoken about what assurance is and we've spoken about what tax is. Turnaround and restructuring strategy is basically with restructuring. Let's say I have a business. Let's say I have a shoemaking business. That's the first thing that came into my head. And it's doing really well. I make millions of shoes and I make millions of pounds of profit. And I have 1,000 employees. And I've realized that the way my business is structured is not very efficient. So I could be making more money or I could be making more shoes. So what I need to do is restructure that business. So what I would do is reach out to EY and say, hello, I need some help restructuring my business, and EY would work with me to restructure my business to make it more efficient so I could make more shoes and earn more profit. So that's what restructuring is. So you could be part of that. And to apply for the Business Academy, you need to be in year 12 or S5, studying 3 A levels / 5 hires or equivalents. So that does include BTEC. So if you're not studying A levels, but you're studying BTECs or CTECs, as long as it's equivalent to 3 A levels, that's absolutely fine. And it doesn't matter what subjects you are studying. If you're studying sociology, psychology, and English literature, you can still apply for the Business Academy. You don't need to be studying economics, maths, further maths, physics, biology, etc. It doesn't matter what you are studying. Of course, more information can be found on our website, and it's the same for our apprenticeships. So we have, as you've probably heard from Sophia and Joseph, we've got a wide range of apprenticeships on offer in the following service lines: assurance, consulting, tax, and technology. So again, hopefully you know what those words mean a little bit more now. And depending on the role and location, you could earn up to 20,000 over 22,000 a year, which is a decent salary for an 18-year-old. And most EY apprenticeships are 4 years long, finishing with a qualification that is equivalent to a master's degree. So Joseph is currently doing 1 day a week at university. Sophia, what does your learning look like week to week?
Okay, so on my school leaver course, we actually go to university or college, whatever you want to call it, in blocks. So for me, my very first exam was in October. So what I did was I went to college, and it was kind of like a 9 to 4 for the whole week, and we just covered the full chapters. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, we sat the exam, and then back to work, really, because it is an apprenticeship. So it's a mix of study and work. And then I've been working since then, and my next block of college is in May. So wish me luck on that one, guys.
Yeah, so as you can see, that some of our apprentices do 1 day a week, and some of our apprentices will do blocks, so they'll do a week at a time. It just depends on what you're studying and the course structure as well. And then you're supported throughout your apprenticeship with help from a buddy and a counsellor, and we do have a dedicated apprenticeship team as well. Joseph, what does that support look like for you? How have you found, moving from from the school environment to the work environment?
Honestly, it was totally seamless. So obviously, just before I started at EY, I was quite nervous. Just starting work at 18. But my buddy reached out to me on about 2 weeks before I started, and honestly, the best help. He answered all my questions, any concerns, no matter how big or small I had about EY. He was able to answer them. And once I got it integrated into EY, I met my counsellor. And your counsellor at EY is essentially a mentor. He can help you through your work life. You can raise any concerns you have with him. He can be a source of guidance. And I have regular conversations with my counsellor about my career aspirations, where I think I want to go. And they're a great source of support. And any issue I have at work, it is always able to be answered.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we're just going to move on to the application process really quickly. Just realized the time. So for the Business Academy, we've got a 3-step application process. So we've got the application form, online assessments, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a second, and then a telephone interview. If you pass all of that, then you get a space on our Business Academy. So our Business Academy is going to happen the week of the 25th of July. So if you are interested and you're in year 12 or S5, do apply for it. And the apprenticeship application process is a little bit longer. So we've got application form, online assessments, telephone interview, EY experience day, and then the final interview. So just to run through it very quickly, application form is just the basic, what your name is, your contact details, what you're currently studying. And then we move on to the online assessments. So we've got a range of online assessments. The main two are the numerical reasoning test and the job simulation. Now, the numerical reasoning test, everybody gets really scared about this, but it's not a test of maths. So it's more of a test of logic. So I'm sure some of you in school, sometimes you get a question in maths that isn't actually asking you, what is 2 add 2? It's asking you to look for the logic within the question in order to answer it. And then our job simulation is basically when you get given scenarios, a range of scenarios. So it could be, for example, Kate has a deadline at 6 p.m., but she's also agreed to help out Joe with his essay. What should she do first? It's scenarios like that, and then you have to respond with what you would do, or you have to rank in order the list of priorities. Sophia, Jake, any top tips for the online assessments?
Yes, absolutely. So there are actually websites that you can use, such as www.jobmi.com, or CAP Assessments is one that EY are directly linked with. So if you get on those websites and start practicing numerical reasoning tests, until you're comfortable to sit the real one, definitely go ahead with that. I'd also recommend you sit in a quiet and comfortable place that has no distractions, because obviously you want to be as focused as possible. So yeah, for the online tests, I would really recommend. Also, for the numerical reasoning, which everyone, as Nathan said, that they do get nervous about, seriously, just practice basic maths topics like fractions, percentages, analyzing graphs and things like that, and you should be fine, mate.
Fantastic. And then the EY Experience Days, basically you'll be invited to a session where you'll get to meet more people at EY. You might get to meet me again because I run some of them. And you have to work in groups to provide solutions to a hypothetical problem at EY. Joe, any top tips for the EY Experience Day?
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit cliche to say, but genuinely just be yourself, because the main thing about the experience day, it's not just finding out whether you are right for EY, it's whether you find out whether EY are right for you. So I'd encourage you just to be the best version of yourself. Get involved with all the tasks that are on offer in the day. Demonstrate your knowledge, demonstrate how good you are working as a team. Before doing it, I'd thoroughly recommend you study EY as a firm and how your motivations and your core values align to that of EY. But overall, it's a case of presenting your best self on the day, because it is 100% about ensuring that the firm that you'll be dedicating the next 3-4 years of your life to, and which you're going to attempt to realize your career aspirations with, is right for you as much as you are right for them.
Perfect.
Definitely. Just adding on to Joseph's point there, I would definitely recommend checking out the EY values and checking if they kind of align with your own personal values, and that's a really great way to find out if EY is the right firm for you. Over to you.
Yeah, great advice there. Thank you so much, guys. So skipping on to our current available roles. Now, all of our available roles are on our website, and we are currently hiring for the Business Academy and for apprenticeships that starts in September 2022. So September of this year. So if you are in year 13 or in S6, go on our website and apply. Start looking for apprenticeships. If you're interested in one of them, if you're interested in a service line, do a little bit of research, and you can apply now for September. And then the last thing before we get into questions is to stay connected with us. So if you want some more information, take out your phone and scan this QR code. You'll be asked to fill out a very short form so we can send you some follow-up information. So I strongly suggest, if anything that we said today has piqued your interest, maybe you're feeling like, I want to find out some more information, or maybe you've applied to university already and you didn't realize that the course you've applied for, you probably could do it through EY. I suggest you scan the QR code, fill out the form, and yeah, we'll send you some more follow-up information. And the last thing to do before I just go back to the QR code is follow us on social media. Our Instagram is EY UK Careers, and we're on LinkedIn, and our YouTube is EY UK Careers as well. And then if you Google EY students, you'll get all of our apprenticeships there. So I'm just going to put that up for a couple more seconds. And in the meantime, we've got about 5 minutes left. Ask away, ask any questions. So you've got one question so far. And I really encourage you to ask any questions because, you know, questions is the way you learn things. So we've got a question from Emma. So, which says, what a great opportunity. Thank you very much. Do you know if these exist in creative areas such as film, theatre and gaming? So a little bit about me. I've worked in the apprenticeship sector for about 5 years, not in those areas, but I do know that some of these kinds of opportunities do exist in the creative industry. There has been moves in the creative industry to widen access and not make everything so university driven. In addition to Pathway, they've put the government's website in there. Other places to look are Not Going to Uni and Get My First Job. Those are great websites to look up for apprenticeships in all areas as well. Other websites exist as well before I get sued. Okay, so next question. Are there minimum grades that you need to be accepted for an EY apprenticeship? So we say that you need 112 UCAS points. However, that is not a hard and fast rule. So if you don't get 112 UCAS points, but you score highly on our assessments, you will still be accepted for an EY apprenticeship. So if you feel that you are not going to get 112 UCAS points, don't worry about it, still apply. That's the advice. Any more questions? While we wait for some more questions, I'm going to ask you guys some more questions. So if you could give advice to the people that are watching, maybe they're unsure about an apprenticeship, or maybe they feel like they're leaning a little bit more towards university, but they're not really sure. They think they might want to do an apprenticeship, but they're a little bit nervous because they don't know that much. What would your advice be? Joseph, we'll start with you.
I'd thoroughly recommend you did follow the path that I did and just research it as much as possible, whether it's EY, the market you're looking into, the industry, the service line you're looking at EY. Just thoroughly have a look into it, and yeah, just have a look. And there is no harm in applying. Like if you're unsure, you might be leaning towards university. There is no harm in applying whatsoever. The options obviously still there for you, and just give the application process your best shot.
Yeah, I totally agree with Joseph that you've got nothing to lose, just apply. I mean, you've only got something to win if you get through.
Yeah, great. And then we've got another question: is how long is the apprenticeship? So some of them are 2. It depends because we've got a range. Some of them are 2 years, but most of them are 4 years long. More information is on our website because I would actually have to tell you about every single one, and we'd be here all night. So more information is on the website, but most of them are 4 years long. Next question: how does EY support people with dyslexia? So we've got, like I said before, you have a counsellor and you have a buddy that are available for support, and Joseph and Sophia have talked about them. So if you have dyslexia, dyspraxia, deaf, blind, we are a very inclusive company. So all you have to do is just be honest with us. So for example, if you apply for an apprenticeship and you are dyslexic, if you tell us, you will get extra time, just like school. If you don't tell us and we don't know, then you don't get the extra time. So it's very important that you're upfront with us. It's actually illegal to discriminate against someone with any form of disability. So don't be nervous about coming forward with any kind of disability, whether that be dyslexia, like I said, dyslexia, dyspraxia, anything like that. That's absolutely fine. Next question: what apprenticeships or opportunities do you have at EY? Anything to do with photography or media? Unfortunately not. We're not a creative company, so we don't have anything to do photography or media. We have things like assurance apprenticeship, tax, digital and technology, supply chain apprenticeship. That's an interesting one that not many people offer. Consulting, restructuring. So more like professional services / business / finance. That is what we're in. We've got another question: how much do you get paid? I rate the confidence. I like it. Like I said before, it's up to 22,100, but it depends on the role and location you are in. So on our website, you'll get the full salary breakdown. So it's usually between £17,000 and £22,000, depending on the role and location. Another question: do you have a notice period if the one you have chosen isn't for you? Yeah, you do have a notice period. I think it's 4 weeks, off the top of my head, and that's the same for any employee. However, if you do the apprenticeship and let's say you're in your final year and you realize, you know what, this isn't for you. EY, like I said, is a very big company and we have people move around all the time. So, for example, we have had some graduates, because we also hire graduates, who were in things like mobility, people and mobility services, and they didn't like it. So they finished their graduate position and then they moved over into student recruitment. We have people move around all the time from different service lines. So you might want to move from assurance to consulting, or consulting to tax, or tax to strategy and transactions. You're free to move around any way you want to at EY, as long as there's need. And at the moment, we are going through hypergrowth, so there is pretty much need. We've got another question, which I think is linked to a previous question. How much do you get paid in the apprenticeships and after you've completed it? So in the apprenticeships, like I said, it's between 17 and 22, and then that's only going to go up after you have finished your apprenticeship. But again, it depends on how well you've worked. You might get a bonus. It's very much about, being recognized for your hard work, which we're very good at as well. Okay, so I'm aware of the time. Is there maybe one more question? Can you give it 10 more seconds before we wrap up? And I'm just going to put the QR code back up for anyone who didn't scan it. So like I said before, if you have maybe any questions, or if you are intrigued about what we do and you want some more information, do scan that QR code and fill out that short form, and we will send you some follow-up information with links to some of our YouTube videos, links to some of our other apprentice stories as well. So like I said, we've got lots of offices and lots of opportunities. And yeah, I think we'll wrap up there. So I'd like to thank Joseph and Sophia for joining us. And yeah, hopefully we'll see some of you soon at EY in one of our offices. Thank you very much to Kasim and the Festival of Apprenticeships team as well. And yeah, have a good evening, everyone.